for the crowd that we've got tonight. We've got a great crowd down the hall and upstairs both, and we have had a little problem with internet stuff today and all kind of craziness, so that's where we've been kind of scattered doing that. Let me make a couple of quick announcements though. Don't forget that this Saturday night at 6:30 we'll be having the Hoppers. So that's again this Saturday night, 6:30. Hope you make plans to come be a part of that. Doors go open at 5:30, and again it's going to be a great night of singing. That's all right, I'll get that later. So it's going to be a great night of singing, and you don't want to miss it. So 5:30, if you come after that anytime, if you want a back row seat, you better get here at 5:25. Okay, so it's going to be a great night again. It's going to be wonderful singing. If you hadn't heard them, I suggest that you go on YouTube. Surely to goodness everybody's heard or at least talked about them at one point or another. And man, they sing some great songs, and so it's going to be a great night. So make plans to be a part of that. Also then, of course, we're doing our Road to the Resurrection, and we had this in the bulletin. We'll be doing that for the next couple of 3 months, or a couple of 3 weeks, I'm sorry. We'll be doing that. Tells a little bit of what's going on every day, and of course, if you want to get some of these, there's some extras out there. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a 10-day event. We start on the 11th and go through the 21st. And we're going to be having all kind of things going on, from Easter egg hunts that are glow in the dark to Lord's Supper reenactment to upstairs. We're going to have rooms up here that's going to be interactive. It's going to be walking through a kind of a thing. We're going to be having each night the children are going to be having a blow-up slides and all that kind of stuff out there that they can play on. And again, last but not least, we will be having a every night that you come and every person that you invite, we will be entering your name and their name, and if they're here, obviously. And every time you bring, so if you bring 10 each night, you're going to have 100 chances in the pot, so to speak, to win $1,000. So you need to make plans, you need to invite everybody. If you've got Comcast TV, the commercial will be coming on the TV about that at the end of the week. So it's going to be on all over the place. And obviously it's on Facebook already. It's on social media. You can share it, post it, present it, tell everybody, because we're going to, as we get closer, we're going to start really spreading that to tell that. So again, awesome. We had a great week this week. Just to tell you, I know Bruce talked about the 31 saved last week in revival, but the effects are still rolling on. We had one baptized this last week. Got 2 or 3 more coming for this Sunday. The other one is we had one saved yesterday, came to church, an adult. Praise the Lord for that. Amen. And then just had a 9-year-old boy right before church, accept the Lord as his Savior too. So praise the Lord for that. Amen. Amen. Last but not least, we are going to have a women's mini retreat, okay? It's on Saturday, June the 15th, and it's from 10 to 2, $15 a person. And if you'll see Wendy, she's right back there in the back. If you'll see her, that includes the lunch, and it's Bakita Heath is her name, and I got a picture, and so obviously we're going to put this up out front, and again, women make plan to be a part of that. All right. Since you have your Bibles, you don't have to stand, but if you'll turn with me to Psalm chapter 22, we have been going through a kind of a series for almost 2 years now on Wednesday nights, been called Hot Topics, and we have come basically to the end of those things. And so a couple of 3 weeks from now, due to the fact that we've got the Road to the Resurrection going on and all that stuff, we will be starting a new series, and it actually is not until the middle of April, actually closer to the end of April, and it'll be over the book of 1 Thessalonians. So we're going to take chapter by chapter, verse by verse, go through the book. It'll be a great book. It's only 5 chapters. That'll only take us about 2 years. So understand that we'll get through those, and you'll be able to understand more of the Scripture. Always great to go verse by verse, word by word. It's awesome. So we'll get to do that. On that note, again, again next week. We will be having Witnessing Wednesday. So we'll be going out and sharing these brochures. And we've got some new things that are door hangers that we're going to be taking out. So that'll happen next week. Some will be praying, some will be taking those out. And then, of course, after that, we'll be preparing for the road to the resurrection. So everything will be done that way. So that's why that's going to take a little while. So we got 1 week left, and I didn't want to start the series in Thessalonians because if you're like me, you'd forget it. So we got too long a time between there and then. So what we need to do is we're going to just take one, since we're so close to the time of the cross and to the time of obviously the resurrection. We're going to go to Psalm 22, and we're going to read, really want to read the whole, at least the first 10 or 11 chapters, and or 10, 11 verses. And obviously, everyone knows the 23rd Psalm. Everyone knows that. You can almost quote it by heart, and you know what it's about. It's about the Lord being our shepherd and about Him being the one that is controlling us. Even though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you'll feel it even before He's with me. And it's great scriptures. You've heard it a million times. Chapter 24 is a verse that talks about what happens after when He comes back the second time. And so this one in chapter 22 is a great psalm. It's written by David, the king of Israel at the time, about 1000 BC. Now, that's 1,000 years, give or take 5 scholars say that before Jesus came to be born on earth. So 1,000 years, now that's a long time. America's been here a little over 200, so that's 5 times that amount that we're seeing these scriptures. And what great scriptures you're going to know right off the first bat on the very first verse. Listen to what David says. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? Oh my God, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season, and you are silent. But thou art holy, O thou, thy inhabitants, the praise of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee, they trusted, and thou didst deliver them, and cried unto thee, and were delivered. They trusted in thee, and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man a reproach of man, despised of the people. And they, all that see me, laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lip, they shake their heads, saying, He trusted on the Lord that He would deliver him. Let Him deliver him, seeing He delighted in him. But thou art He that looked me out of the womb, and thou didst make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast. I was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my God from my mother's belly. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, for there is none to help. Now, like I said, 1,000 years before Jesus came to be born on this earth, this is David talking. And so if I topic this, I guess, subject would be a prophecy of the cross. Because obviously, the very first verse talks about something that everybody's heard. If you know anything about the cross, you've heard it. And so I want you to understand, first of all, the setting of the cross 1,000 years later. Jesus is there. 3 hours on earth, darkness fell. Now, chapter 23 of Psalm is the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He is considered the good shepherd. The sheep follow Him and know His voice. The same one that talks about in Luke chapter 15 that says, if there's one, 99's in the fold and one is loose, He's going after. He's being the good shepherd to protect the sheep. This is the same one that gave His life for the sheep. Now that's, man, look, that's enough to make anybody shout here tonight. Number one, that a man, God in the flesh, man, would die and care enough about you that he would lay down his life for you. I was in that room with little Nicholas a minute ago, and that was one of the most amazing things to me. It always is, because it's a miracle. Now, folks believe we don't believe in miracles, but I'm telling you, when somebody gets saved, that's a miracle, because the devil has a toehold further than that on the world today. And when that happens, that is miraculous. And here's the point that is so unbelievable about it. When you finally get down to the punch where they're asking Jesus, this is basically what always happens. I know you died for me. Is that not amazing? I mean, just think about that for just a second. An 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 100-year-old can say, I know you died for me. You know, the world can't say that. Let me just go a little further. Do you know that the world can't say that the president would do that? The world can't say that Congress would do that. The world can't say that your pastor would do that. Because listen to me, there are people that I would not die for. There are some that I would, but not many that I would die for. And before you look at me and think I'm not holy, you wouldn't die for nobody either. So you understand, if it's up to us, that throws everything out of kilter. Look, I know you died for me. That's what Jesus did on the cross. 3 hours, the world is in darkness while Jesus is on the cross. Everybody knows that story. But look, I want you to understand that in that 3 hours of darkness, you know what Jesus cries out? My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Man, I've been in the 7 sayings probably 15 times. My pastor had one the whole time I was under his pastorship, and I know that I've heard the verses, I've heard the 7 sayings of what Jesus said. I know all of them. We can talk about all of them. I've heard them preached 100 different ways, but I'm telling you, that is the most profound statements of all 7. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Now I notice that because the very first verse of chapter 22 opens with the same words. 1,000 years prior to Jesus being born, and then he's 33 years later that he dies. This is being prophesied, told about by David the king. Now, if that doesn't make your hair stand on your head, then you probably don't have Jesus. Because listen to me, there are people today that can tell you that such and such is going to happen next week. And you can, if you don't believe this, you try to get a plumber, or you try to get somebody to lay carpet, or you try to get somebody to come in and change out a light bulb. Oh, I'll be there Wednesday. You're taking their word for Wednesday, then a week from now they're coming to your house. And you know what happens? You call them and you can't find them. Can I have a witness? You understand what I'm saying here? He goes through that point that's a week and they can't tell you. Look, most of us in here can say, oh, I can tell you what I'm going to do in a week. You have no idea what you're going to do in a week. You know why? Because in an hour, in a second, your life could totally change. A phone call could turn it upside down. A death of a family member could turn it upside down. You could be caused in a bad wreck. There could be things that could happen in a matter of 1 second that could change your life. You can't tell what's going to happen a week from now. Now, can you imagine? Let's move that to Washington. Could you imagine Washington telling you that a week from now this is going to happen? Oh, well, I've seen it happen. Well, you may have seen little bits and pieces of it happen, but I'm telling you, they don't know what's going to happen a week from now. Nobody here knows what's going to happen a week from now. Now, think about that. 1,000 years from now, you tell that this is going to happen. And guess what? It happens. Now, there's nobody can do that. There's nobody that's ever been on the earth can prophesy and tell you that that's going to happen, and boom, it happens. That has to be God doing that. So I want us to look at that phrase, my God, and then talk about the other ones, because number one, you've got to understand why Jesus is crying out and saying, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Number one, he's crying out for the sake of the world. Now, I want you to think about that, because here's the eternal, the everlasting, the one and only true God that's always been. There's never been a time that he has not been. This is the eternal God, Jesus in the flesh, perfect. Now I want you to hear me with that, because there's people running around today that say, well, you know, I just can't really believe that. You know, Jesus had to have some bad thoughts, and Jesus had to do something here wrong. And look, if he did something wrong, then he can't cry out on the cross, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Because if he does do something wrong, he's going to die in the same way that we're all going to die. So you understand, I want you to put this, and I wish that I had words to explain this. Eternal God sends his only one, the only one, begotten Son, to this earth. Stop. Do you get that? Can you imagine Jesus being at the creation of the world? You said, well, now, wait a minute. Now, I don't know if yes, he's always been. That means he was there before the world created, right? So here he is. By the way, there's nothing been made without him anyway. Jesus is the one that created life. Jesus is the one that breathed life into man. Jesus is the one that hung the stars. Jesus is the one that makes the earth revolve. Listen, if it was not for Jesus, we wouldn't be sitting in these chairs. We'd be floating around somewhere in space. Jesus created everything. So imagine this. If history is correct and the scripture is correct, which by the way I believe the scripture is, then let's just use this. Then we are 3,000 years from when this happened in Psalm 22. And if you go backwards, we are 3,000 more years back to creation. Now, oh well, now, preacher, you know, they tell you that it's 50 million years old. Well, I don't have time to talk an hour about it, but it is on faulty ground that they do that. There is no such thing as 50 million years old. Well, I don't believe that, preacher. Well, you can be wrong all you want to be wrong. Study scriptures. Go through Genesis chapter 10, chapter 5. It'll tell you exactly how old the earth is. All you got to do is add it up. If you can add 1 and 2, you can find out that it's 6,000 years old. It's just the way it is. Now, well, preacher, I don't believe that. Well, you can believe what the scriptures say or don't believe it. Okay? But if we go back, think about this. 6,000 years ago from today, Jesus is in heaven. Now move forward 3,000 years. You getting this? 3,000 years, and he sends him out of that to come to this. Amen. Look, if he didn't die on the cross, how bad would that be, just leaving that to come here? Forget about the cross for a minute. Leaving glory that he's been there for eternity, and then comes here to this earth. Now I'm just, look, this earth is a mess. There is nothing good about this when all that is good. So look, Jesus has been there from the eternity, is now being sent to earth. Stop, period. That's enough. Look, if he's done that right there, can you imagine what he's gone through already? Leaving glory to come here. But look, he didn't stop there. He came born of a virgin. then all of a sudden lives in this mess for 33 years. Lived in Jerusalem. The religion trying to kill him. The world trying to rebuke him. He didn't have a place to lay his head. Walked around all over on this earth. All he tried to do was get people to come to the saving knowledge of himself. Here he is, 33 years walking around the earth, and then what? Here's where I'm coming to. He dies on a cross. Why did he do that? For us. And look, not only you, he died for the sake of the whole world. Left the portals of glory, came a sinless Son of God, suffered the horror of the cross, suffered the brutal beating to get to the cross, suffered being on the pain and agony that he had in his physical body on the cross for the sake of the whole world. Now listen, that means for the whole world. I believe in whosoever will. I believe that anybody can call on the name of Jesus and can be saved. I don't believe it's predestined. The only thing you're predestined to do is, if you're saved, become more like him. Election means that God knows who's going to pick him, and if you choose him, you become a whosoever. Hallelujah. You understand that this is what he died for, the whole world. Now think about that. That is for the Hitlers as much as it's for the church folks. That's for the religious zealots as much as it's for an abortionist. That's for a liar as much as it's for somebody that gives in the plate every week. That's for somebody that committed adultery. That's for a murderer. That's for a liar. That's for a gossip. That's for a mass murderer. That's for an ISIS. That's for somebody you don't like. He died for the sake of the whole world. That's what he did coming to earth. Now think about that and put that into context. Because now, he's on the cross. And he says, my God, why has thou forsaken me? Now think about what that means. The judgment of the whole world's sins. The whole world's sins is put on him on the cross. And you know, nobody today wants to talk about the judgment of God. Everybody wants to talk about the love of God, and it is. But nobody wants to talk about the judgment of God. Look, the judgment of God is wrath. Look, think about it. The creator of the universe is even one day going to judge this whole earth and going to burn it up like fire in a new heaven and a new earth's coming. That's the judgment of God. Look, you read Revelation and you're going to see that, man, 2/3 of the earth is going to get wiped out. There's going to be famines all over the place. There's going to be earthquakes. There's going to be wars. That's the wrath of God. Now, those things are horrible in itself. But I want you to think individually here for a minute. Nobody else but you. The sins that you committed. The sins that you've committed already. The sins that you're going to do tonight, the sins that you're doing tomorrow and next week and next month and next year and however long you live, deserves punishment. God is holy. He cannot, listen, if God was not holy, this would be different. But God is holy. He is sinless. He is perfect. And honey, you ain't. Therefore, you have no way to get there. You have no way to get to heaven whatsoever. So somebody has got to pay the debt of your sins. That's what Jesus did on the cross. Now, it's bad enough if Jesus just had to suffer and all the lashings and the beatings and all the spit upon and the thorn on his head and all that stuff. But listen, pile your sins on him, and he is getting the the judgment of your sins while he's on the cross. Thank you, Lord. Just your sins. Now I want to take it, look, put everybody's sins in this room tonight and throw it on the cross. That would be tremendous, preacher. Now multiply that and take everybody that's ever lived, that ever will live, and throw every sin on him. Do you get what Jesus was doing? The debt of the wrath of God of sin, the wages of that is that you're going to die. But because he's on the cross paying the sin debt for our sins, he can holler out to God. Can you imagine the spiritual agony of that? We can't even begin to put it in our mind what that means. The agony of the physicalness is one thing, but the spiritual agony of every one of our sins put on him. That's my Savior. That's who is here on the cross crying out. Think about this. If God is holy and righteous, and let's just say he winks at sin and overlooks one person's sin in here, then he's either going to look over all of it, or he can't be a just God. Now look, everybody in here would say, oh, well, we've got to have justice. You look here, listen to me. You don't want the justice of God, because the justice of God is the wrath of your sins, and that is something awful. What we really want is grace and mercy that God gave through his only Son dying on the cross for everyone's sins. All of us, our righteousness demands punishment because of that unrighteousness. God did that in his only Son for your sake. The sins he bore, he knew no sin, but became sin for us. He had never done it. God unleashes the wrath of all those sins, puts it on his Son, who judged the whole world's sins on his only begotten Son. Can you see why Jesus said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Because what's happened is he's looking up. Look, he's been in eternity with God the whole time. Now all of a sudden he comes to earth, and now all of a sudden he is here and he's bearing the sins of everybody. And he looks at God and says, why? Why are you doing this? And then look what happens. Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit. He knew why he had to go. You said, what do you mean, preacher? Because listen, you remember what happened just hours before. He's in the Garden of Gethsemane, and what did he pray? Father, not my will. Take this cup from me, but if you can't, your will be done. What's the cup? Dying for the sins of the world. If there had been another way, do you not think God would have sent another way? But there is no other way. Now let me just tell you what that means, and I'm going to move on. That means that when you say, well, I believe in the church. Well, listen, I'm a church man. I believe in the church. But the church ain't going to get you to heaven. The church ain't never died for your sins. Let me go a little further. Well, I'm a good Catholic. You don't understand. Look, the Pope, the priest, the church, the Vatican, sprinkling holy water, putting down some incense somewhere, burning a green moss thing, coming in the building, ain't never died for your sins. Well, I'm a good Baptist. I come from Pentecostal backgrounds. Listen, you can jump the benches, you can run the aisles, you can shout the rooftops down, you can quote scripture, you can come to the altar every time the door's open, you can give in the plate and be a long lineage of Baptists, and they ain't never died for your sins. Well, you can believe it. I can believe in Muhammad, or I can believe in Buddhism because all roads lead to heaven. Listen, they didn't die for the sins of the world. They've never been nowhere that they had to look up and cry, God, why have you forsook me? He's the only way to get there. Now, I know the world don't want to hear that, but listen, there are people today that'll tell you that many roads roads lead there. The Bible says there's not but one way. Acts 4:12, neither is there salvation in any other, for there's none other name under heaven given among men whereby you must be saved. It's only through the blood of Jesus, only by Him dying on that cross, that you have a way. Preacher, that's narrow-minded. Oh, the Scripture says in Matthew 7, narrow is the way, straight is the gate that leads, broad is the road that leads to destruction. We've got to get this in our minds. This is what the prophecy of the cross is. If He is not the Holy One there dying for your sins, we are all in a mess. But because He is eternal, that's why He can holler, my God, why is that for a second? Let me just give you one little more tidbit of history while we're here too. You understand that this is not only claiming the words while He's on the cross. If it is the words while He's on the cross, then it's also got to mean that He's going to die on the cross. So therefore, listen, do you know that they have not even had crucifixion? There is no such thing on the earth in 1000 BC. So not only is He prophesying what He's going to say from it, He's prophesying how He's going to die on it, and it ain't even happened yet. That's God. Why did He do it? For the sake of the world. Number two, though, I want you to notice in those verses down there, He says He cried, and if you keep on reading down further, His bones were out of joint. There were things that were happening. He was suffering. So yes, we've got the spiritualness of it, the sins of the world. But number two, the suffering. He bore all that pain for you, but the suffering was far beyond just the spiritual. I'm talking about a cat of nine tails, 18 or 20 inches that had bone shards on it. I'm talking about driving nails that are about 8 to 10 inches long through His bones. I'm talking about hanging on the cross with His back being beat so much that the flesh could be seen. I'm talking about Him spitting in His face. I'm talking about Him putting a crown on His head. I'm talking about Him bleeding. I'm talking about Him going into shock. I'm talking about the Son of God dying, suffering on the cross. Why? The judgment of God is that He had to die for us, but the love of God is that He did it. You can't take them apart. You can't let one over here go, because look, if you take the love of God, all you're going to be doing is walking around in your head in the clouds, popping balloons, and confetti's going to come out, and everybody's going to feel great. And you can't go this way and say all it is about a judgment. This is God showing up with those things. Here He is with the love of God by saying He suffered for that for you, but here He is in the judgment and taking your sins down. You understand? This is the love of God that He let His only Son suffer for you. Man, how amazing that is. Listen, I don't care how dead you are, that'll make you raise up out of a coffin if you get understanding what that means. He loved you to suffer for your sins. Every bit of what you can do. And you know, everybody says, well, I've seen the movie. It's worse than the movie. He's publicly humiliated, set out naked on the cross. He's not got a loincloth run around him. He's naked on the cross. He's beaten unrecognizable. His beard is plucked. His bones are literally jerked out of socket, and yet He is there. Why? Because He has to taste death. Because He loved us. Aren't you glad that that's that way it is? Now think about it. If He doesn't hate sin, then we're all going to die. And if the wrath is not paid of our sin debt, we're all going to die. But because of the love of Christ sending, you know, we've got a song, and I know my wife says you're just too dogmatic and you pick out too much. But you know, we got a song, and I love the song, and I know it says it, but let me just, the title is Had It Not Been. Everybody knows the song. I love the song. It's a great song. And look, it does give a little bit there. But here's what it said. The very first phrase, just suppose God searched through heaven and couldn't find one willing to go. Well, first of all, you can suppose all you want to, but that didn't happen. They ain't no supposing to it. God loved the world when He created it, knew He's going to send His only begotten Son to die. It wasn't supposing and sitting up there. God didn't come down. Man, he created Adam and Eve in the garden, put them out there, and he says, oh, me, they have messed up. I'm going to have to figure out plan B and take them out of this garden. God ain't doing that, wringing his hands saying, who am I going to see? And we're not going to look over all of eternity out there and find somebody willing. There ain't nobody but one can be willing, and it had to be before it happened. From the foundation of the world, that's where it had to be. He is the one. Why? Because he loved you. Look, the Bible says we love him because he first. You see, if we loved him and he didn't love us back, we'd be all on the wrath side. But because he loved us, we can love him. Pierced his hands, nailed his feet. He suffered like a pack of wolves around him. Suffered because he loves each and everybody. That's the ISIS. That's the Hitlers. He loves them. Now listen to me, church. If the church got a hold, you know what we want to do? We want to be this over here. We want to be the judge. What do you mean, preacher? Well, look, most churches, I heard one last week, man, that pitched a fit about somebody that was in the church and literally told them, made them sign a covenant with the church about their marriage. And when they didn't sign it, the husband didn't know that his wife had. His wife had signed it, not against anything, but didn't. She signed it, he didn't. They got back later, about a week later, comes to him and says, hey, this don't work. You can't be a member here because you didn't sign this covenant. But she signed it, so you can either sign it or she can disavow her signature. Well, you know what's happened? That's been about 3 months ago. You know what's happened? The husband and wife have split up. See, we try to be the judge over here. Listen, don't you just let God do the judging. God knows what to do. God's got the wrath. Listen, you realize when people do something wrong with you, don't do nothing. Jesus says it. What does he say? Turn the other cheek. All we want to do is be the judge. Oh man, we're going to criticize everybody. And you know, Baptists are horrible. Here's what we want to do. We want to come over here and say, well, yeah, but you don't understand. Here's these people that's doing this and they're doing this. But how many gossips are in the church? How many people are sitting in here talking about somebody else? Listen, if you don't believe that, you probably did it when you come in here tonight. But yet we want to judge them for something we think you're not the judge. Jesus is the judge. You know what we need to do is get away from this end, and what we need to do is just do this. We need to just love them. Well, preacher, look, that means I got to love some people. Yeah, it does. It means you got to love some people that don't look like you. They don't smell like you. They don't act like you. They don't come from the same side of the railroad tracks as you. That have done something in the past that you may not like. That don't do what you like now. May look different, may act different, may walk different, may talk different. But look, we need to be on this end to show Jesus through us. We need to not worry about the judging part. God will take care of that. What you need to do is just love like he did. Look what he did. He loved enough that he suffered and died on the cross for your sins. So look, not only was it for the sake of the world, number two, it's for suffering, but look, then what does that mean from now on? What happens since the cross? What does that mean for preacher then? For me, preacher, what does that mean, preacher? It means, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do? Are you going to try to continue to be the wrath of God, or are you going to be the love of God? What are you going to do? Are you going to sit on it? Are you going to share, or are you going to shut up? You going to stand, or are you going to sit? You going to separate, or are you going to settle? Since the cross, since he died, since he took your sin debt, since he suffered, what are you going to do with that? Most churches sit down and never do nothing else. And, you know, I've used this before, but I promise you, you come in and preach about Old Yeller or about a rocking chair that Grandma had in her old farmhouse, and everybody in here be crying. But you preach about the cross and it gets so quiet, man, you hear crickets. Look, what we need to do is we need to remember what he did that day. We need to take it that, hey, God died on the cross. Listen, the cross demands action. The cross is not so you can sit down in your cathedral. By the way, Jesus did not die in a cathedral between two lampstands. He died on a cross between two thieves so that you could have a way to heaven. It's not about those stained glass windows. It's not about the ornate buildings. It's about Him. It's about what He's done. So that demands us to do something. That demands us that we will not sit still, that we will share the Word of God. And I'm using this because I told his grandparents a minute ago. Back there with Nicholas, first time he's ever been here, first time he's ever been in church, in this building. There's 8 or 10 kids in that room. He don't know none of them. Doesn't know the teacher. He doesn't know anybody. He doesn't even know me. Now you can imagine. First of all, here I am coming down the hall, and he's in the room with the kids, and I called him out. You can imagine what that's already going to be. Who is this? Coming me, calling me. What have I done? You'd feel the same way. You'd get apprehensive. He walked out, we walked through the gospel, we shared the gospel, and here's what I told him at the end. Here's the proof of the pudding, Nicholas. You now, because of where you've been, you now must share this. What does that mean, preacher? I said, it means now that you need to go back in that room and you need to tell them what happened to you. Amen. We walked across the hallway. I sprung open the door. I said, Nicholas has something to say to you. He said, whoo, God saved. Listen to me. The cross demands that kind of action. If you realize that He died for the sake of everybody's sins suffered, you will move on that. You will witness, you will share it, you'll tell it more than you ever have. And look, if that don't do enough for you, David, 1,000 years before he came to earth, told you it's going to happen. Man, there ain't a novel nowhere, there ain't a science fiction book nowhere that can put that together the way God did. That's Him. That's what it's about. So what we must do is realize that we cannot miss the Son on the cross. We can't miss it. We can't miss what He died for. We can't miss the sufferings. And I don't know about you, but there's been days that are hard days. There's been days, man, that you just, I'm being transparent here, but there's been days you want to just throw the towel and say, forget this mess. All you got to do is go back there. If you go back there and see what He did, you can't quit. You can't stop telling. Well, preacher, they rebuked me, they did Him. Well, preacher, they beat me, they did Him. Well, preacher, they may kill me, they did Him. But thanks be to God because of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, because He raised from the dead. Oh, glory, so are you going to be one of these days. One of these days, because of Him, you're going to get raised up the same way. So what you moping around, running around for? Why don't you just stand on the fact that He is the one that matters? He is the one that demands the verdict. He is the one that demands you to go share. That's what we ought to be about as a church. We ought to be sharing more than ever that He is what it's all about. Hallelujah to the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world. All right, we're going to have altar time.